Teresa from Life Beyond Diabetes, and today we are back in my kitchen. It's been a while since I've been here in the kitchen, but this last weekend, started playing with my air fryer that I got at the beginning of isolation. So I've had this sitting on my counter since March and had never used it before Sunday. And I'm not quite sure what possessed me to use it on Sunday, but I did, and I am in love. So I'm going to show you a little, just quickly, this is how quick it is. I'm going to make some kale chips while we are on a live today. So first thing I'm going to do before I get started, I'm going to take the basket out, put that in, and then I'm going to just turn it on. It's going to heat up while I'm doing all the rest of the work. And honestly, I only know how mine works, and I know that they're different. So if you happen to get one, check out your instructions. Mine looks prettier than a lot of them, but I got mine because it was on sale at the grocery store and a clearance when it was, again, at the beginning of isolation. But I think they all kind of work about the same. Mine just happens to look like a little bit more like a toaster oven than most of them do. So again, I think the standard part is that they all have a frying basket that you put stuff in. No oil though, so you don't fry things, but you don't dip it in the oil. So for making kale chips, what I'm doing today is one bunch of kale. You start out with the big Italian kale or dinosaur kale or whatever it's called. I was going to save some to show you what I started out with, but big leaves like this, and then I have torn them down into pieces about this size. So let me finish tearing this one up, and then I've already washed it before now, and it's here in this colander full of these nice chip-sized pieces. The next thing I'm going to do is, it's dry. I want to make sure that it's pretty dry. I did wash it, but I then dabbed it off with paper towels to make sure that it's nice and dry. And then, so that the little bit of olive oil that I pour over it actually sticks to it. So that how I make them is I pour it out here on a big cookie sheet. And then I drizzle with just a little bit of olive oil because that's going to be what's going to help the salt and pepper to stick, and also kind of give it a little bit of crisp. So not like I'm actually frying it. Now, I would tell you, I've tried making kale chips so many times in the oven, and they never turned out. I always thought, what is the big deal with this? But I thought I'd try it with the air fryer. And I'm just giving these a toss on the with the tongs. Get that oil mixed around a little bit. And again, it's not very much oil. I don't know if you can see. It's just barely glistening with the oil. And it seems like it hasn't had much time to preheat, but it's all it takes is just a couple minutes to heat it up. And then I'm going to toss some salt with it. A little bit of pepper. Give it a good toss again. And now that I've got that kind of pretty mixed all in together, I'm going to just take the basket, and remember, it's not hot this time because it hasn't been in here. When I do the second batch, I will not be holding it in my hand because the basket will be hot. But I'm just going to lay this in one layer. So this, for me, in my air fryer, one batch of kale, one bundle of kale from the grocery store, takes 2 batches for me to do. But because it's so fast, it's not like I'm doing this for an hour or half an hour like I would be if I were doing it in the oven. And I will say also the recipes that I found mentioned keeping it in the fryer for like 4 minutes and then tossing it. The first time I did that, I did it for about 3 minutes, and I pulled it out and it was already burnt to a crisp. So we are not doing 4 minutes. We're going to just pop this in really quick for 1 minute. Okay. Just slide that in, and I'm going to turn the timer on. So that's going to go for a minute. And while it's going for a minute, I'm going to tell you the first thing that we tried doing amazingly feels like it was a really huge, big deal thing to try is steaks, because I really wanted a steak, and our barbecue isn't really ready this year. It needs some repairs. Cooking a steak in the house always ends up with lots of smoke and upsets the dogs. So I didn't know what to do. So I thought, okay, well, maybe we'll try this air fryer. Turned out the air fryer was so fast and easy. And all you do is, I got some pretty thin steaks because I was not sure how it would work. So this first time I bought like the cheapest steaks I could find, nice and thin. I let them set for an hour at room temperature to kind of rest. After about an hour, they'd come to room temperature. I brushed them with a little bit of olive oil, salt and pepper. I turned on the air fryer and I popped them in for 3.5 minutes on each side, and I pulled them out and they were fantastic. Okay, it's been a minute, so I'm gonna check on what's going on with my kale here. And let me move this out of the way. So I don't know if you can see, it's getting a little bit crispy. It needs at least one more. I'm gonna toss this a little bit. It's getting kind of crispy, and the color is getting beautiful. Nice, kind of an emerald green color. And I'm gonna put that right back in. And one more. There we go. And so that just keeps going. And I'm gonna do another 30 seconds. Whoops, that's 3 minutes. We don't want that. There, by the time I got back here, it's 20 seconds. But so then after I had those steaks cooked, while they were resting, I did asparagus. And I really like the little pencil thin asparagus about the size of my pinky. And so while the steaks were in, I just tossed those in some olive oil and salt and pepper. Let's see how our kale looks. That pieces got around. Oh. It's pretty crisp. I think I want it to go one more round though, so I'm going to pop them back in for another 30 seconds again. Just one little piece. It's good, but it needs a little bit longer. So the asparagus, only instead of roasting in the oven for 20 minutes and being checked all the time, and check to see if it's tender, how long the asparagus took about 3 minutes to cook in the air fryer with one toss right in the middle. So beautiful dinner with steak and asparagus, just like it had come off the grill or out of out of the oven. It took me only about 10 minutes total. It was amazing. So these guys cooked for about 2 minutes total. Nice and crisp. Really, really yummy. Highly recommend. I'm going to do a second batch. You can play around with the seasonings on these. I haven't done that yet, but I've been reading some of the different things that people do. Actually, when I made them the other day, I think they turned out a little bit better. During the first toss, I put some more salt in, gave it a bit better flavor. I'll probably do that with the second batch. But air fryer, super diabetes friendly, getting me to eat more veggies, better veggies, without all the fuss that adds all this stuff that makes it not as healthy. Plus, who doesn't love a good steak that's fantastic and done in 7 minutes? So next week I'll be right back here on Thursday at 2:30 Pacific. I will see you then. Let me know if there's any questions or anything I can answer about diabetes. And also, if you have an air fryer, please tell me what is your favorite thing to do in it, because I am learning and want to know more. So let me know what you do with your air fryer, and I'll see you back here next Thursday. Bye.